Newly elected Congressman Cleo Fields for the new redrawn map and the district there, District 6. He says that some of the things that he wants to get to work on is increasing the minimum wage, and he also talked about early childhood education.
And you saw it there. If we can go back to the board, let's run through most of these real quick. Sylvia just mentioned that. Here's Julia Letlow. She wins the 5th Congressional District for her second term.
Mm-hmm. Also, Congressman Clay Higgins, also elected to another term. We're looking at, there's that number there in the 3rd District.
Steve Scalise as well. We showed you that earlier. And this is just the second board of that district. Troy Carter also heading back to Washington for another term there. So let's go ahead and bring in Mr. Charlie Cook if we can. Is that okay, guys? All right, thank you very much. The political analyst and founder of the Cook Political Report joining us now in studio. Thanks so much for being here.
And Shreveport native.
There you go. Any big surprises tonight?
Well, I would say to your Democratic viewers, the good news is the 5 key Senate races in the 7 swing states have not been called. The bad news is it looks awful for them. This is not what Democrats were looking for.
What do you mean by that?
They thought they had a good shot at getting maybe 2 of the 3, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, in the presidential. There's still some vote out, but this is not at all what they were looking for. And quite frankly, this is, if I were going to say what was in the high end of expectations for how Republicans would go, it's a little better than that.
In terms of the balance of power, like where do you see that numbers-wise?
Well, right now, I thought the bottom end for the Senate would be 51-49, 51 Republicans, but the way it's going now, it could be 52-3-4,
really?
Up there a little bit, which is, to be honest, better for them than I expected. And the presidential, it's, I really thought that pollsters having underestimated Trump's vote in 16 and 20, I kind of thought they were, and some of the pollsters had maybe, if they were more likely to overcompensate to make sure they didn't make that mistake again, but maybe not. These are pretty surprising numbers. If you're a Republican, this is probably better than you ever expected. If you were rational, reasonable, they're always cheerleaders. But.
In terms of the House, though,
we don't know anything about the House. None of the key House races have flipped yet. So right now, Democrats would need a net gain of 4, but we don't know anything in the House. But given what's happening in the presidential, given what's going on in Senate races, it would be logical that the chances for Republicans holding on to their majority in the House would be pretty good. There usually is not a complete disconnect.
Sure.
I was just going to get you to stand by for just a second. We're going to send it out to Destiny Beasley with Julia Letlow, who, as we said, was elected to a second term for the 5th Congressional District. Destiny.
Hey, Sylvia, Michael. Well, it is still a celebration here at Tiger Stadium. Well, as you know, Julia Letlow, she has won her re-election, and everyone here, they're still celebrating. She has talked about, just continuing the things that she has done while she was already in the office. So just keeping those same things on as far as for farmers, education, everyone, just making everyone here in Louisiana just, improving everything. And she's making her way, just being the hostess with the mostest, making her way around the party, just making sure she tells everyone thank you for just being supportive. And she also has her family here, her staff members, and she has her 2 cute little kids. And so, as you can say, a lot of people, they're kind of emptying out, but as I said earlier, still a celebration here. So I'm sending it back to you all in the studio.
James.
All right, Destiny, thank you. Let's go to Ascension Parish. Residents of Gonzalez also deciding their next mayor tonight.
Barney Arsenault resigned earlier this year to become executive director of the Louisiana Municipal Association. 4 candidates running to fill that seat. And you see the numbers there. Tim Riley. This is going to be a runoff between Tim Riley and Kimlin Balin Lomas. And we heard from Fallon Brown earlier. Do we have her or? Okay, let's send it out to Fallon Brown.
Hey, Sylvia, Michael. Well, unlike an EBR where the parties are popping out here, they have been shut down for a bit of a while now, actually. We're standing outside of Kemlyn Lomos's campaign headquarters right now, where she was celebrating a little bit earlier, and so was Tim Riley over at his place. But both parties have been shut down. Both candidates have early mornings tomorrow. But I can tell you that there is going to be a runoff, as you mentioned. And, you know, both candidates are really promising to step up their game so that whenever the next election or the runoff comes around, they're going to be bringing it. And, you know, I spoke to Tim Riley a little bit earlier at his party, and this is what he told me.
With 44% of the vote, that lets me know that the constituents is appreciative of Tim Riley. It as well let me know that the people care about who's the leader of the city. Obviously, I am the guy to lead this city because of the support that I have, the people that's helping me, the people that's embracing me. It's just obvious. It's a no-brainer.
All right, and so, yeah, Tim Riley, he got 44% of the vote, as he mentioned, about 2,200 votes, and Lomas was trailing behind with 1,100 less votes at 1,182 to be exact, out of a total of 5,092 votes in Ascension Parish. Now, I spoke with both candidates about their policies, and Lomas is really about economic development. She wants to see the city of Gonzalez grow even more, but she also wants to connect the community. Meanwhile, when I spoke with Riley, he said he wants to pump the brakes a little bit, make sure that the water and sewer systems can kind of hold up as the city develops. And he still wants some commercial development, but not so much residential. So we'll see what the voters will decide coming up next month. But for now, we'll go ahead and send things back to the news desk live in Gonzalez. Fallon Brown, WBRZ News 2.
Okay, Fallon, thank you. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 21st Judicial District Judge race. You see there, Matthew Belser with 51%, ahead of Linda Benton McGee at 49%. And this is the 23rd District, Tony Menard at 69%, and the Democrat Jennifer Prescott at 31%.
And we will move on now to a couple of the, we're going to go to Sharon Weston Broome. We're told that she is speaking now, so let's send it out to her. Watch party. Okay, while we're waiting for that, we'll take a look at this constitutional amendment number 1. It looks like it was passing. Okay, let's send it out to the mayor.
Good evening, Team Broome. Started this journey at the beginning of this year. Many people doubted whether we would be able to stand here tonight. Yes. But we never for 1 minute doubted. And the reason why we never doubted was because we had a record. But more than that, we knew we had a fearless leader in Mayor Sharon Weston Broome. Tonight, as we advance to the next round, tonight's results show that from Zachary to South Baton Rouge to Glen Oaks to Eden Park to St. George, that we are a city that is behind our mayor president for 4 more years. 4 years. 4 more years. 4 more years. 4 more years. so without further ado tonight, I want you to give the biggest ovation to our Mayor President, Sharon Weston Broome.
I want to first start, and I don't think anybody is surprised, giving God all the glory, the honor, and the praise. Because without him, I'm nothing. And without him, I would not be here tonight, standing before you. I want to thank my family, my husband, one of the best first gentlemen you could ever have. My daughter Sarah and my grandchildren and my sons who are not here but who are watching everything. And I will just tell you that my granddaughter, Sydney, is on Howard University's campus tonight and has credentials to see the next president of the United States, Kamala Harris. This is an incredible night. I love you, Baton Rouge. I love you, Baton Rouge. I love you, Baton Rouge. As I look through this crowd, there are so many familiar faces here tonight. This is indeed a monumental step forward in our journey towards victory in 2024. Together we have made history again. But of course, tonight is not the end of the road. It's a signpost telling us that we are halfway there. And you know what? We are not slowing down. When we started this journey back in 2016, it felt like we were taking a single step into the unknown. I know many of you all were there for that first step. And I know many of you all stuck with us through the challenges that we faced. And each one of you here tonight know that we never shied away from any challenge. And I see others who have joined us on the journey over the past 8 years. And let me just say to all of you all, I am profoundly grateful from the bottom of my heart. I want to thank all of our volunteers who have volunteered. Not only did they do the work, but they gave me so much encouragement and love on this journey. I want to thank our co-chairs, Darrell Gizzle and Senator Regina Barrow. I'm starting to say names here. So I want to thank all of our senior staff members who have worked on this journey with us, from Josh Hollins to Cleve Dunn to Michael Baychok, James Gilmore, all of them who put the strategy together, Emmy Cormier, Myra Richardson, who's been with me at every church in Baton Rouge, and beyond that. When you talk about talent, we've got talent on this stage right now. We've got talent on this stage right now, and they're staying here in Baton Rouge. And I want to thank all of our prayer warriors who've been praying, and Mary and Sharon.
All right.
WBRZ's election coverage will return after this. This is your city. These are your streets. Injured in a car crash? This is your lawyer. Cascio Injury Attorneys. 225-800-CASH.
At Raising Cane's, we take pride in supporting our hometown of Baton Rouge. And this year, we're proud to partner with WBRZ's Pat's Coats for Kids.
Helping children stay warm from the cold has been our mission for over 35 years. And for just $25, you can give a coat to a child in need.
Help us spread one love this season by donating today. And on behalf of myself and all our Raising Cane's crew members, thank you for supporting Pat's Coats for Kids.
Pat's Coats for Kids is proudly sponsored by Raising Cane's.
Bear Creek Western Store, it's where the West begins.
In 1965, my grandparents opened Bear Creek Western Store. It quickly grew. As my family says, it's Grandma's hobby that got out of hand.
Saddle up, boys and girls. This is where the West begins.
Bear Creek Western Store, it's where the West begins.
Remember what it's like to sing your lungs out? Dance until you're dizzy. Dance until dawn. And never miss a beat. Use your wings. Because you've got the compassion of the cross, the security of the shield, and the comfort of blue behind you. Live Louisiana. We've got you.
Life. You don't want to miss a second of it. And you want to watch out for the people you love. Severe flu or COVID-19 can get in your way and theirs. Get this season's vaccines and be there for them and yourself. Risk less, do more.
As medical physicists, we really help to bring new technologies to cancer care.
We are very fortunate to have all the technology available to us that we need to do the best for our patients. Improving or investing in those technologies can only make us better, can only be beneficial to those patients that need it.
Your progress is our focus.
Together, we triumph.
Visit marybird.org to learn more.
The holidays. And holiday trips. And holiday toys. And holiday bonding. And it all comes together in a Chevrolet.
Find your red tag. Get 1.9% financing on all 2024 Silverado 1500 pickups. And get $2,750 cash allowance plus an additional $1,000 on this Silverado when you trade in an eligible vehicle.
The Steve Harvey Morning Show. Every morning, every day. We gonna make you laugh the whole time. Come have some fun with us, y'all, for Baton Rouge's R&B and back in the day jam. The all new 104.1 The Vibe.
There are trucks, and then there's the GMC Sierra. Available with the connected driving experience. And the world's first 6-function multi-pro tailgate. GMC Sierra. It's the truck. Get 0% APR on select 2024 Sierra 1500 models. That's over $6,400 total value, plus no monthly payments until next year. We are professional grade GMC.
This news segment is brought to you by your Bayou Buick and GMC dealers.
I was rear-ended by a driver going 50 miles an hour. That's when I called Louisiana's neck and back injury lawyer.
Car or truck wreck? Call me, Peyton Murphy, at 928-8800. I am Louisiana's neck and back injury lawyer.
Black Friday is going on now at Ashley, and everything is on sale. Hot buys up to 75% off, starting at just $199.
But don't wait, because it's also the Ashley, ooh, look, you can get 0% interest for 72 months Black Friday event.
There are trucks, and then there's the GMC Sierra. Available with the connected driving experience. And the world's first 6-function multi-pro tailgate. GMC Sierra. It's the truck. Get 0% APR on select 2024 Sierra 1500 models. That's over $6,400 total value. Plus, no monthly payments until next year. We are professional grade. GMC.
It's the Ashley, ooh, look, you can save up to $1,000 store-wide Black Friday event.
Black Friday is going on now at Ashley, and everything is on sale. Get 0% interest for 72 months with no money out of pocket today.
An impact to the head or neck area can cause a brain injury. Headaches, blurred vision, or dizziness are signs that your injury is serious. If you suffered a concussion from an accident, call me, Attorney Peyton Murphy. I am Louisiana's brain injury lawyer.
A wreck with a big rig can cause serious damage and serious injuries. But 18-wheelers aren't the only kinds of big trucks that can destroy lives.
I'm Attorney Gordon McCarty. If you've been injured by a delivery truck, dump truck, box truck, or any kind of big truck, we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve. We've recovered over $3 billion for our clients. I am Louisiana's big truck lawyer. Just call me. Get it done.
Call 888-8888.
Call me, Peyton Murphy. I am Louisiana's neck and back injury lawyer.
Now, your storm station forecast with Chief Meteorologist Josh Eaches.
Since our 6 o'clock newscast, we've seen Hurricane Rafael develop in the northwestern Caribbean. It is still expected to cross the western tip of Cuba tomorrow and emerge in the southeastern Gulf of Mexico. But new tonight, we've seen the path shifted a little bit farther to the south and to the west, slowed down, and you'll notice at the end of this shown to be an even weaker system, increasing our confidence that this could be a very minimal, if not non-factor, across Louisiana. Still kind of a wait and watch game to see if we have any impacts at all, but they're not going to be major. Tonight, the capital area is quiet. The capital area is muggy. Temperatures in the upper 70s. Earlier showers and thunderstorms have fallen apart and not going to be an issue around daybreak tomorrow. There's the storm station 7-day forecast. Upper 80s continue even as we approach the upcoming weekend and we wait the eventual potential arrival of Rafael. Michael, Sylvia.
All right, Josh, thanks very much.
And we thank you for watching News 2 at 10 o'clock.
We'll have a full election recap tomorrow morning on TuneIn beginning at 5 a.m. Good night.
I'm Peyton Murphy. I am Louisiana's brain injury lawyer. I am Louisiana's shoulder injury lawyer. I am Louisiana's knee injury lawyer, and I am Louisiana's neck and back injury lawyer. Don't be a victim twice. Call Murphy Law Firm at 928-8800.
Your heart and vascular system is at the core of your overall health. Trust your care to Cardiovascular Institute of the South, a world leader in the diagnosis and treatment of heart disease, artery and vein disease in the legs, and heart valve disease. CIS cardiologists offer the most advanced, innovative, and compassionate care for the complete health of your heart and legs. Schedule an appointment at one of our 3 locations in the Capital Region at cardio.com.
Bear Creek Western Store, it's where the West begins.
In 1965, my grandparents opened Bear Creek Western Store. It quickly grew. As my family says, it's Grandma's hobby that got out of hand.
Saddle up, boys and girls. This is where the West begins.
Bear Creek Western Store, it's where the West begins.
Hurt in a car wreck? Call Attorney Peyton Murphy for immediate help.
If you're seriously injured and can't come to us, we will come to you. Call me, Peyton Murphy. I am Louisiana's neck and back injury lawyer. Call 928-8800. Call me, Peyton Murphy. I am Louisiana's shoulder injury lawyer.
This is your city. These are your streets. Injured in a car crash? This is your lawyer, Cascio Injury Attorneys.
Need a lift in the bedroom? It's more common than you think. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness is here to help you rise again. With our expert care, you can regain your peak performance. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
AmeriHealth Caritas Louisiana and the New Orleans Pelicans share a passion for helping people stay healthy.
Everything sounds great.
So they love that we give members special rewards for wellness visits.
Da-da-da-da.
Oh, thanks, Pierre. That we provide no-cost gym memberships.
2, 3.
And that we offer exercise programs at our community wellness centers. 6. If you're choosing a Medicaid plan for your family, AmeriHealth Caritas Louisiana is a slam dunk.
At Alvarez Construction, we have a home for every family in every stage of life. When life is changing and your family is growing, we are there for you every step of the way. From financing to building to the day you move into your new home, let the Alvarez family guide you through every step. Contact Alvarez Construction today and let our family help your family build a home. The official builder of the St. Jude Dream Home.
Let's face it, life throws you curveballs. At Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, we help you stand tall. Whether you're facing ED or battling low T, we've got the solutions to help you regain the oomph you need. Goodwood is your partner in men's sexual wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
This is your city. These are your streets. Injured in a car crash? This is your lawyer, Cascio Injury Attorneys.
Donald Trump's choice in the primary. This now means that Donald Trump has handpicked 2 of the Ohio state senators. Of course, the other one being Senator J.D. Vance, his running mate.
All right, Rachel, thanks. We do have a state to call. This is a big one. It's North Carolina. 16 electoral votes go to former President Donald Trump. He has won the state of North Carolina tonight. Let's get right over to Rick Klein at the board. Let's show our viewers how this played out. North Carolina now in Donald Trump's column, and we can start doing these hypotheticals, the sort of the rest of the pathway to get to 270.
Yeah, this is the first major battleground state that has been projected by ABC News. So this assumes that everything else happens the way that we expect. A big if. We haven't gotten results out of a lot of safe blue states in particular tonight. But this changes the electoral math in some very significant ways. Right now, Donald Trump is in a commanding position, not just in North Carolina, but also in Georgia. If you were to award him those 2 states, he is at 251 electoral votes. That leaves him the opportunity to win the Electoral College just with Pennsylvania. If Pennsylvania falls for him, that's enough. But let's assume that doesn't happen. Then you've got some other possibilities. We've been talking a lot about the other blue wall states, Michigan or Wisconsin. You take one of those and any other state on the map, and you've got 270. So you can do that with Michigan. You can do that with Wisconsin. Similar situation that you need a slightly bigger state than Nevada. In that case, you need Arizona to work. Once again, for Harris, it's now a vanishingly small map. The biggest opportunity still Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, and it doesn't matter that she's lost North Carolina or even that she loses these others. The other possibility that could be intriguing given what we're seeing out west is that she pieces something else together. Pennsylvania is an absolute must-win at this point. No question about it. She needs to win that state. But she could win Wisconsin in addition to Arizona and Nevada and get 270 electoral votes. She could also trade Wisconsin for Michigan and end up in the same place. But this does change very significantly where things stand. Just by our 538 calculations, Donald Trump already at around a 70% chance of winning, just based on the North Carolina call, not even taking into account the other trends that we've been talking about of the kind of red shift that we've seen across so many communities in this country.
So let's drill down on Pennsylvania at this hour, because this number, the Donald Trump lead has grown. Yeah. And is this a surmountable lead for the Harris campaign?
There's definitely still votes on the table where it can be made up, but it gets harder as the night goes on. There's more vote comes in because some of these places are places that Republicans will continue to pick up votes. Just looking there in Wilkes-Barre, 24,000 votes there. Donald Trump's winning that county 60-40. Lancaster, another place, another 13,000 votes there. So once you get into Philadelphia and the suburbs, yeah, it's a lot of vote that's still there. We're still talking about 250,000 votes in Philadelphia, but Kamala Harris is going to win all of them, right? She might win it by a 2-1, 3-1 margin. Then you start to chip away. The suburbs are still very big, and there's a ton of vote there. And just to add this up, that's 228, that's 200, that's 400, that's 750, 800, 900,000 votes, but they'd have to break very decisively for Harris to come through. Certainly plausible, but that doesn't take into account that there still are Republican-leading communities that are still to report, and so many of these places, as Rachel talked about before, that previously had looked a little bit bluish, are tilting to the reddish. And when you start to add things up like this and overperform, Donald Trump overperforming his numbers by 4 or 5 points in places like this, 2,000 votes, 3,000 votes there, that is really the story of the night when it comes to the maps.
Governor Christie, what do you make of Pennsylvania, what you're looking at right now?
Well, I spent a lot of time there during my time as governor, and those 900,000 votes in the collar counties in Philly are a big deal. But it just keeps getting tougher and tougher there. You know, you got over a 200,000 vote lead now, so it gets tougher. But that part of it's not over. I look at Michigan and still see Harris in a pretty good position in Michigan. And as Ryan has said before about Wisconsin, I still think that's a jump ball. Although, look, you have to say at this point, you'd rather be Trump than Harris, given the way the map is being laid out as we sit here now. And the other thing, when you mentioned Moreno before, that's a really important seat, assuming they win Montana as well. And given the way this is moving, I think you have to assume that. The reason is that gives him 52 votes in the Senate, not 51. And if you assume that Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski might not be amenable to some of the choices a new President Trump might make for his cabinet, 51 would have been a potential problem. 52, even if he loses both of them, he gets to 50, and J.D. Vance can break the tie on any controversial cabinet members or judicial appointments. So the Moreno win in Ohio is an incredibly important governing win for Donald Trump, assuming that John Tester's beaten in Montana.
And Sherrod Brown was closer to Moreno than John Tester is to his challenger. And Martha, you've covered that race out in Montana. John Tester trying to hold on to his seat in a very red state, third-generation farmer. But it's going to be tough if you look at the rest of the map tonight.
It's going to be tough. And one of the main reasons is they've had people from outside Montana move into Montana. It's kind of like Florida. They have a whole new population in many places in Montana, even though Tester has won, he's trying for his 4th term. It's also a wild race. They have a Navy SEAL, a former Navy SEAL, running against him, Tim Sheehy, who has been very controversial because there are charges that he lied about a gunshot wound he got. A park ranger said that he had told her in 2015 that he accidentally shot himself, but he had been telling the story that he got the wound in Afghanistan. Now he is a combat decorated veteran and Navy SEAL, but that particular gunshot wound allegedly did not come from those battles.
Martha, thanks. Let's get back over to Rachel on the rest of the story for Ohio. Obviously, a lot of eyes on John Tester at this point.
Yeah.
But Sherrod Brown is a major win for the Republicans tonight. The fact that he's now been defeated after trying a couple of times to get him, they got him this time.
Yeah, it's a huge win. And again, David, I just want to go back to the map here because this is important. We talked about the importance of West Virginia, a state that Donald Trump won. Also, Ohio, now that we've called it for Sherrod Brown. This is basically it here in Montana. John Tester, the last statewide Democrat, as Martha just mentioned, Democrats have a razor-thin majority in the Senate. Reminder, Democrats currently holding 51 seats, Republicans holding 49, and they're playing so much defense tonight with 23 seats that they are defending. That's why all eyes are on Montana and that race. And right now, as we're waiting more vote, it's not looking good for Senator John Tester.
Let's race across the map. Can we look at Michigan, the Senate race there? It's an open seat. Debbie Stabenow retiring. Alyssa Slotkin, obviously a member of Congress who's up against Mike Rogers, also a former member of Congress, and he's got the lead.
He's got the lead. They both represented the same exact district in Lansing right here. Let's just take a look at how they're doing compared to the top of the ticket here. This is always fascinating for us as we're talking about split ticket voting. We have Slotkin at 56%, Harris at 55%, Mike Rogers 41%, Donald Trump at 42%. This is another one that we're going to be keeping our eyes very closely peeled on as well as they make the case in this state too, David.
But overall, statewide, he's in the lead at this point.
Overall, statewide, he is in the lead by 32,000 votes. 38% of the vote in, still a little early.
Yeah, Pennsylvania, Bob Casey.
Bob Casey over in Pennsylvania. This is one where, again, White House also crossing roads with control of the Senate. Bob Casey from Scranton, very popular name here in the state. His father was a governor running against McCormick in the state. Right now, let's take a look here. You have McCormick ahead by 119,000 votes compared to Bob Casey, 81% of the vote in. Let's go ahead and do that compare as well. Let's start with Scranton as well here. You could just see, let's go back here. You could see. Yeah, they're just starting in Scranton, though, just seeing how Harris is doing here. Bob Casey, 53%, Harris at 50. Let's see how it's doing statewide as well. Overall, Harris at 47, Casey at 47, Donald Trump 51, McCormick 49.
And so clearly Donald Trump at this point appears to be lifting Dave McCormick to a potential victory over Bob Casey. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves here tonight. Tammy Baldwin in Wisconsin looking to hold on to her seat. Where does that look at this hour?
Yeah, Tammy Baldwin in Wisconsin looking to hold on to her seat here. She's been in public office for 40 years at this point. Let's go over to the Senate so we can see how she's doing against Eric Hovde. At this point, he is ahead by about 30,000 votes, 70% of the vote in. Let's go ahead and do that compare as well here so you can see how they're running against the top of the ticket. You have Hovde, 49%, Donald Trump at 50. He's ahead again by 30,000 votes compared to Tammy Baldwin at 48, Vice President Kamala Harris at 47.
So again, we haven't called any of these races, but the portrait that you just showed is a big night for Republicans.
Yes.
In all of these states, it looks like Tammy Baldwin's fighting to stay alive in the Senate right now. Bob Casey fighting for his life in the Senate. And in an open seat in Michigan, Mike Rogers is in the lead at this point. John Carl, this is potentially a big night for Donald Trump and all of the Republican Senate candidates who were looking either to fill an open seat or to replace a Democratic incumbent.
Look, it's not over. A lot of votes still to count, but the trend lines are clear. And what you are seeing is potentially Donald Trump on the precipice of the greatest comeback in American political history. I mean, we've never seen anything like this. We've seen presidents lose and come back. We remember Grover Cleveland coming back, but this is...
You do.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. But
we weren't around for that. No, I'm just kidding.
But a president who left the White House the way he left, impeached for the second time, 7 members of his own party voting to convict him in the Senate, facing multiple criminal trials, indictments in 4 separate cases, convictions in the case in New York, and to face all of that, come back, recapture the Republican nomination, and be on the precipice of potentially getting back into the White House is something unlike anything we have ever seen in American history. Even with Donald Trump, we've just never seen something like this. And to see the Republicans in these races, we don't know where the House is yet. The House, we're probably gonna have to wait a while, but on the precipice of potentially not just retaking the Senate, but retaking it comfortably. It gets to the question that Donald Trump would ask in the closing days at the beginning of every one of his rallies. Are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? And as we've seen in our polling, as we've seen in the exit polls today, the resounding answer from most Americans is no. They feel they've been hit with housing costs that have been, absolutely brutal. Inflation, the rate of inflation has gone down, but eggs are still about 161% more now than they were when Joe Biden got in. Gas prices about 50% more than when Joe Biden came into the White House. Americans are saying clearly, I mean, even before hearing the final results, we see, trend lines that they are unhappy with the stewardship of the Democrats in the White House, and this is a rejection.
And David, if I can, it really, just to double down on that, the message Kamala Harris has been trying to get out there is things are getting better. The inflation rate is going down. But the people who have suffered through this, they'll never get that money back. And voters I talked to, it was the absolute #1 issue. And they felt that they were thriving under Donald Trump. There was a young voter in Texas, a veteran, who did not vote for Donald Trump in 2020, was disgusted by things that Donald Trump had said. His name is Carl Wild, and I checked in with Carl Wild again this week, and he said, my business has gone downhill. My wife's business has gone downhill. I am voting for Donald Trump. He said, I'm still disgusted by things he said, but this is about my family. This is about our suffering through the last 3 or 4 years. I mean, no matter the explanations about why or how that happened, that is what people are feeling. I've said it tonight before. That is their truth. They have blanked out some of the things Donald Trump has said. They've normalized some of the things Donald Trump has said, but it's their kitchen table.
And when you're paying more at the grocery store, you know
exactly.
it.
Exactly.
And so that's your most immediate concern. And as you said, as you traveled through the Sun Belt states, everywhere you went, that's what they said. I want to bring in the team at 538, Galen Druk, Elliot Morris. Do we have a camera at 538, guys? I wanted to ask them, I know they're crunching the numbers. There they are. Let's see if we can find them in their cubicle back there. Hey, guys, are you back there? Are you still awake? Hey, I know you guys have been crunching the numbers here.
We got you, indeed.
Hey.
We are still awake.
Galen, Elliot, tell us what you're seeing in Pennsylvania at this hour. We're watching the Donald Trump lead grow. Is that something that Kamala Harris can catch up to mathematically at this point?
Yeah, I just want to lay out the math as it stands for 1 second. So here on this tool behind me, we're showing the probability of Harris or Donald Trump winning the presidency. If you consider all the projections ABC has made so far tonight, except for North Carolina, that first battleground state. But I want you to see when we assign North Carolina to Trump, for example, you see that shifts the likelihood of Trump winning the presidency to 76 out of 100 times. We also heard, of course, from the Secretary of State of Georgia, Brad Raffensperger, that he expects Trump to win Georgia. You know, we have not made that projection yet, but I just want to give you some sense of how the scenarios play out. If Georgia also ends up in Trump's column, we see that things there look quite good for him. Now, look, if Pennsylvania were in that case to then go to Kamala Harris, as you asked about, things suddenly do start to change a bit. We get closer back to 55 out of 100 scenarios Harris can win. But then Trump just needs to pick up any of these other battleground states in order to derail Harris on the path to 270. So right now, as you can see from our projections here, the scenarios that we are running, it looks quite good for Donald Trump at this point in the night. And my colleague Elliot, I think, can talk a little bit more about the outstanding vote in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, David, this might be thought of as a best case scenario for Kamala Harris at this point. One thing that this model you see here doesn't know about is the outstanding votes in Philadelphia. And what we've been seeing there and what Rick's been telling you on his great big board, looking at our benchmarks, is that Democrats just aren't hitting the turnout they need in Philadelphia. The collar counties around that city, they are going for Democrats about what Kamala Harris would need to win.